So today we are going to be making buffalo chicken dip. And for this, you will need some Frank's Red Hot. Exact amount may vary. A pound of sharp cheddar cheese. I just got this, so the same price as Bricks. Usually Brick is cheaper. So whatever you want to do. It's also the lazy way out. And it doesn't matter what brand of cream cheese you get. This was just a few cents more than store brand, so I'm like, yeah, why not? And you will need a pound of it. You will need some fresh garlic to season the chicken after you're done steaming it. I can show you how to deskin that the easy way. You'll need 3 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken breast. And yeah, this will work just fine. Now, what you want to do with this is get you a steamer. If you don't have a steamer, you can cook it a few other ways. You just have to make it nice and tender so you can rip it apart. You can dice it if you want. Doing this, I can just shred it. It makes a nice texture. Get that right away. You want to turn that on to high. Get that boiling. Because you're just steaming it. You can turn it down after the water gets nice and hot. I need a lighter. You also want to put the top on that. This one should work. Perfect. So it's good to vent. And garlic. Use this for everything. Just do that. And the garlic comes right on out. That was a thin piece. This garlic seems to be a little bit old. Normally it'll keep its shape for the most part. But so that, I also have a garlic press, but who needs to do that? Then the next step is after the chicken is done. Something else I forgot, to add an extra layer of flavor, you can use blue cheese or ranch dressing and just add a little to it, and it gives you the little bit more of a buffalo dip kind of flavor. I have a little bit here, I figure I'll throw it in. Might not make too much difference to the flavor, but it'll add a creamy texture to it, which would be nice. Alright, you'll know when it's done when you're able to take it and you're able to just kind of shred it with a fork. Sometimes it takes a little longer. You kind of want it fully cooked, but you're going to be throwing it in the oven at about 350 for about 20 to 25 minutes. So realistically, making sure it's fully cooked just makes it a lot easier to deal with, because they'll fall apart a lot better. Breaking up the chicken for now. It's still a little raw in the middle. course, a really easy way of doing it is just taking it out, cooling it down a bit, and chopping it up. Or do what I'm doing. Just wait. Make sure there's enough water down there. There is. Also, you can make an awesome chicken soup with the broth that you make doing this. Alright, you don't have to use a stainless steel bowl for this, but I prefer them because I can put them on the stove. I ain't got to worry about it. I can put it in there and it's not going to melt. You could use a plate too, but you know, forget plates. You can do it any way you want. You're just pulling it out of here or taking it out of whatever that you use to cook it with. And you're going to let it cool down for a bit. You're either going to chop it up or it's actually add a lot of flavor. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw that in there. Be surprised at how much flavor there is just floating in with like the solidified juices. Might seem disgusting to some people, but if you find it disgusting, throw it out. Whatever. It's just flavor. And I always save my juice to make soup out of. I'll take it, I'll put it into a freezer bag when it cools down. I mean, that's just straight flavor. Chicken flavor. Turn that off. So all that's left to do here is let it cool down, break it apart, shred it, and it shreds easy. And then I'll show you what to do after you're done with that. Well, I get impatient, so I ended up chopping, made it like this, and now I'm just going to use my mixer to kind of shred it the rest of the way. It should tear it apart pretty good. Lazy way out. If you have one, I recommend this. It's easy. I'm gonna be using this anyways to add in the other ingredients. If you don't have one, you can do it in a bowl, do it by hand. Just cool down the chicken first. Chicken's still hot for me, but just tears. It'll take me like a minute or two, but it beats doing it by hand. Could always just do that. Then it gets all over the place. You cannot use a blender because you will liquefy it because there's still quite a bit of moisture in this chicken. As you can see, it took me about 2 minutes. I just kind of went through it with a fork. That's what I'm doing now. And it's pretty good. You don't want it liquefied or anything. You want strands of meat. You want that to be throughout your stuff. Also, the amount of garlic that I did, you don't need that much. You need like 1 or 2 cloves, but I need to chop up some extra for some other things I'm doing. You just want to put that right in with the chicken. Just about that. That'll do. Just enough to kind of give the chicken a little bit of flavor. A little bit of black, well, let's not do that. A little bit of black pepper. It's just so the chicken kind of goes on its own. You ain't got to worry about everything else. Because if your chicken's completely bland, then all you're going to have is basically hot sauce and cream cheese and cheese. And that's no good. You don't need a whole lot. A little bit of salt won't kill it either. Not much though, because there's a lot of sodium in hot sauce. Just a couple grinds. Alright, now I'm going to add the cream of cheese. you could warm it up and soften it, but I've had it actually out for a little bit. So it's pretty soft already. That just makes it easier to work with. Plop that in there. Take this. Realistically, I want to start mixing that up. I have it set to low because I don't want to accidentally blend it to nothing. See? That's kind of what you want it to look like, but I like mine super creamy. So we're going for extra. 3 pounds, 1 pound, 1 pound. And then we get to add the hot sauce. And the hot sauce, I mean, you can add whatever you really want. Any type of hot sauce will do. I like Frank's. That's what I'm going to use. And I'm just going to pour it in until I get the right consistency that I want, the right hue of color. Oh, so if you break up the stuff, it'll go a lot easier. Some people say that it's probably easier to do this with a spoon or fork or whatever. But like I said, I'm being lazy today. Go. Some light from the edges here. Get that out of there. I mean, this has that option too. At this point, it's going to be perfectly mixed pretty much with this. Just go with a package of cheese. Half now. You save at least 4 ounces for the top of your container that you're going to bake it in. This way you have like a nice cheesy crust on top. And that's going to be good. Yeah, don't worry, my hands are clean. It's going to make it a little bit easier to mix as well. Because that cheese is going to absorb a little bit of that moisture in there that we just added. You could use white cheese if you want, but I'm a fan of the yellow. Now, here's what I'm going to do. This is exactly 1 cup of Frank's Red Hot. We're going to put half in. And that's actually a little more than half. Oops. That's okay. We're going to probably need more anyways. It's almost guaranteed. Now, the reason why you want to have the chicken fully cooked, though, is so you can taste test this to make sure that you have enough spice in it that you want. Of course, if you want it mild, you know, just less. So, take a little bit. All the flavor that I want's there, but not quite the spice. Plus, don't forget we're going to be adding more cheese, a few other things. So I'm going to say, well, I like spice. 1 whole cup of that will do you. Just 1. That's all you need. Then a little bit of this. I don't know how much this. Let's find out. Ah, stupid things. That's what you call cheap. That is about 1/3 of a cup. It's about right. You don't want too much, otherwise it'll end up going bad in the oven. My chicken is cooled off at this point. It's around room temperature, so it's not going to cook it or anything. And just run this through. Real quick. Because it's such a thick item in here, I'm going to have to scrape it off the sides. That looks good. Smells even better. I'm going to add the other half of this. Like I said, all you're going to need is about half of a pound, 4 ounces. This is an 8-ounce bag, so I can get it in the thing and not all over the floor. That would be good. So, that'll do. Just keep enough to go on top of the dish. Alright. I recommend getting one of these things if you don't already have one. This one's from Pampered Chef, but they make them. A lot of different companies make things like this. It's got a soft, like rubber side. It makes it really easy to get stuff off from stuff. It's form-fitting. Also, it's good for. It's got that side which you can do stuff with. Let's see. You want to get waste not, want not, right? So. Get it all into the bowl. If you got time to do that. If you don't, whatever. It's your money. I know. Little tiny bits. I'm being picky. It's just the way I was raised. I think it's a good way. This type of economy, it's a nice thing, you know. I always seem to have a little bit more than what I need. Because I don't waste. Or at least I try not to. But we can all be wasteful at times, right? It's good enough. Then I'll come in and use that soft side here. Also, a lot of like cake spatulas are made like this, where it's soft. So you can get things mixed up a little bit better. You do not need to grease your pan. You can if you want. You really don't need to, because with all the cream cheese and the chicken and the hot sauce, there's going to be plenty of fluids to keep it from sticking. And I recommend glass. This is 13.5 by 9.5 inch glass pan. And just kind of spoon it out, put it in. You can notice little bits that haven't really been colored yet. You can fix that after it's in the glass pan. Because you're not going to get it perfect with the machine. You're probably not going to get it perfect by hand either. But you can try. And if you do, hey, good on you. It's just a quick, cheap way of making it. And it's good. There's other ways that don't involve the cheddar cheese, where they want you to just use like crumbled blue cheese. There's a lot of different recipes for this. But for what me and my family like, this is what we do. So. Alright, because I'm so super picky, I had to make this as flat as possible, because that's just the way I am. You don't have to. It's going to eventually settle anyways. I'm throwing it in the fridge for a couple hours before I throw it in for dinner, because it's only like noon. This is a cup of the cheddar cheese, which is 4 ounces. Technically, a cup is more than that, but when it's shredded, it's just that. Makes life easier to use this. Spread it because you want it kind of evenly spread, so when it bakes it'll melt on top, giving it like almost a pizza-y top. And if you can, get it a little bit toasty, because toasted cheddars taste amazing on everything. And there is definitely plenty of cheese in this cup, and I don't know why I'm being so. Here we go. Yeah, cheese. Alright. That's done with clean hands, of course. I did just wash my hands. Just kind of spread that out. If you're sensitive about touching food, or if you're cooking for other people, you know, you can always use gloves, but I'm just cooking for the family. And I clean my hands frequently while I do this. Heck, I clean my hands frequently just throughout the day. You never know. Just want a nice layer there. See, like I said, it's 13.5 inches by 9.5 inches. That looks good. I'm going to cover it with some plastic wrap, throw it in the fridge for a couple hours. Then, when it's ready to go, you put it into an oven at 350 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes, pretty much until the cheese is melted on top. Once it's melted on top, you can serve it, but for me, I'm going to throw it in for a few extra minutes to get it kind of toasted. Okay, so now I found some jalapenos in my fridge, so I sliced them up. I took out the middles, because that's where the majority of the spice is, and I don't want super hot spice. And so this now goes into this oven at 350 degrees, preheated's good, for about 25 minutes. I have a nice timer that I can use. 25 minutes. And there we go. And in 25 minutes, it'll be all set to go. More than likely. If not, I'll throw it in for another few minutes. Alrighty, and now our buffalo chicken dip is done. Decided not to toast the cheese because I put the jalapenos on there, so it'll be easier for people to pick them off if they don't want them. And this looks amazing. And I have to wait for everyone else, but that's what it looks like after you're all done with it. You can see it started to kind of toast up on the edges. So this is perfect. As long as it's all melted, it's ready to go. As long as you fully cook the chicken, you're good. So, thanks for watching. Hope that you enjoy this one. Please like, subscribe, share me with all your friends, and I shall see you next time.